Good morning. You guys gonna have a quick session with Joe here. This is time for me to already got him saddled up and whatnot. That's the infamous train that's behind this this ranch where I come and work horses. 2 horses that I got and I'm working. But I like the having the trains around because it helps desensitize. Everything over here is so desensitized to a lot of things. But this is Big Joe, 4-year-old stallion. Let me get up here. Whoa. Easy. So Joe's story is he's a 4-year-old. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the video. So he's a 4-year-old who I started as a 3-year-old for a guy, somewhat of actually a mentor of mine. And he had hurt his back and was not in a position to start Joe himself. So he came to me and asked me, and it told me that he had been observing me over the years, and he wanted me to start his colt. And well, he wasn't a colt at the time, and I just was so flattered, and just kind of blew me away, and honored. In any case, started him and finished him, gave him back to him. He rode him, I don't know, a couple months, and then ended up hurting his back again, and then he sat for a while, got kind of rank, and a few guys tried to get on him and couldn't. So he came and asked me if I'd help him out again, so I sure did. I jumped at the opportunity to work with him again. So we're kind of back to getting in the groove. But he will never be gelded, and Sokotor doesn't subscribe to gelding horses. The reason why is because you don't need to. I think I've talked about that briefly. And it's also, in the eyes of the Sokotor philosophy, the reason it's done is to control the animal. And Sokotor wants to operate harmoniously with all things in nature and not control anything. So to take the horse's nature away to control it, it's not required, nor is it something that we subscribe to, especially because you don't need to. Also, this is why we use the word gentle instead of break with Sokotor, because that, if you understand history, and me being of African descent, African in America, that was kind of synonymous with breaking a slave. The slave breaking philosophy and the horse breaking philosophy are somewhat similar, and a lot of the tenets of breaking a slave came from breaking a horse. So I am very sensitive about that, extremely sensitive. So that's why I don't even use the word break. I say gentle. Sokotor is a science of meticulous gentleness. But he's been bred. He just bred last week, actually, to be honest with you. He just bred last week. So I want to keep his mind right, and I'm considering taking him to a rodeo in Vegas in October and using him. So I got to have him quiet. I got to have him absolutely quiet and not dropping or whipping out, as we say, around mares. One is disrespectful. Two, I don't think too many rodeos or production companies will allow it. So I have to get him in a position where when he sees mares, he doesn't jump out of his skin. And it's always a tedious process when you have a gentle hand. Now, when you have a rough hand, there's all kinds of tricks of the trade, all kinds of things I've seen. I won't mention them. But when you are trying to maintain the meticulous gentleness philosophy, it's just very tedious, and it's okay. Everything that you care about or want to become great, you should be honored to have the time and take the time to cultivate it. So that's how we see the training process and life in general with Sokotor. That's how we see the entire living process. As you can see, his head, he's somewhat distracted. There's a mare over there. Actually, the mare that he bred to is down that alley over there, so that's why he keeps wanting to lean in that direction and look over there. But he's not reacting too bad. He did kind of sound off when we walked by, which is to be expected. They just bred last week, like I said, but nothing disrespectful. Didn't try to overpower me. Didn't try to run to her stall or knock me out of the way. So I'll live with that, and I'll work him back into a position where none of that will even faze him anymore. It just takes time. With the stallion, it just takes a little more time. But horses in general take time. And I think most people don't really have time for their animal. And I think that it's probably best that you sell them, but make sure they go to a good home, of course, but sell them if you don't have time. I think one of the worst things you can do is to especially break a horse and then not ride it. You could have just left it wild or with its, left it undomesticated. So these are some of the ways where Sokotor differs in philosophy when it comes to horsemanship, when it comes to nature. I'm not really big on giving tips as much as, as far as technique. If you're spending time with your animal, you can pretty much develop your own technique if you have the courage, if you understand yourself, if you understand your own nature. Horsemanship really is about understanding you. Horses can teach you a lot about yourself if you have the patience. If you have the patience and the courage, because it's going to take courage to recognize faults in yourself and change them, not just want to change them, but actually change them. So all that can happen in that process. So eventually this train will start moving. It comes through, I don't know, 8 times a day. Sometimes it's a lot of cargo, but a lot of times it's the cow trans also. But as I said, it's very good for desensitizing horses, and he definitely won't react. Nothing over here will react to it. Well, back. He's lazy for the most part. That's why he's still on his head. He doesn't want to work. Which is okay. He hasn't really been getting work. Not seriously. Plus it's been really hot, so we've been kind of limited out here. So I got out here earlier. Not early, but I come from another ranch also. But we shall work it out. I rarely get into big fights with horses because they're bigger than me. I can't win. So you have to outsmart them. You always have to outsmart them. Especially when you're maintaining a gentle hand, soft hand. So what we got is we got a cowboy blowing out the barn, and we got Joe a little reactive. We'll go over and investigate. Slowly work our way up. He'll fight me, of course, but we'll work through it. I'll keep coaching him where I want him to go. Whoa, 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 whoa.
You don't want to play with the water?
No, that the blower was scaring him. That's all right. Cut it back on. So we'll work through it. No fear. Easy. Yeah. Easy. Whoa. 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 Good boy. I got him to hold right where I want him. Good boy. Good boy. Thank you, sir. Always go extra on the praise. That's the key. Always go extra on the praise. So, had a little hesitation there. A little reaction. We kind of slowly but surely worked our way up. Most importantly, as I was the good leader, I didn't show any fear. Although he showed fear, I didn't react to his fear. And that's also key. And that's why I say, you know, you have to work a lot on yourself as much as you work on the horse. So because I didn't show any fear, I was able to continue to lead him to a position where he felt comfortable and understood that I would not let that blower or whatever was going on harm him. I got him to stand exactly where I wanted to, and then I went extra on the praise. That's always key. Although you see me using the reins there as far as trying to and working with this neck rein with him, I am also using my leg as cues. Sokatura rides more through the body than with the reins, excuse me. Reins are really just an enhancement. At a time, I could actually ride this guy with directly through my body with no reins. He still can a little bit, but I wouldn't. I got to work him into trotting. Now I think he's just barely getting back focused walking with it, so. Well, back. Oh, good boy. Always extra on the praise. Well, always extra on the praise. Sokatura, the science of meticulous gentleness. Remember, it is all about trust. Thank you guys for hanging out with me.